August 21st, 2026 Plat Committee meeting to order. Do a roll call. Jared Hahn is present, Lynn Huffman is present, Nick Huffman is present, Mike Lotzenheiser is present, and Aaron Harvey is present. And I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting that were sent out.
Motion approved as presented.
Okay, motion by Nick,
Second.
second by Mike. All in favor say aye. Aye. 5-0. And we're going to do things a little bit out of order since we have some folks here. First thing we will do is the secondary plat for the Jefferson Township OD Inc. one lot major subdivision. That is petition A260814. Have a representative.
Ben Johnson with Miller Land Surveying. So, I know I'm supposed to bring the Mylar for you guys.
Yes, and we can start to sign that, yes.
Yep. I don't have a ton of information given to me other than we're creating a lot to then combine lots to sell off as one overall piece. And then retaining the remainder.
Yeah,
This was the one that we had approved.
yeah, just that plan commission at the last meeting, so it'd be lot number 5, and then it'll also include the 2 acres, that Wells County Revitalization owns to the north of there.
Okay.
We went back and forth to get the signature lines, everything updated, so those should be good. There was no changes between the plan commission's draft and what we have tonight.
And part of that was easement language, all that stuff, that all got,
Yeah, that's
Taken
all,
care of.
yeah, we've got
Okay.
all that stuff is in there as designed. So.
okay. So we just need a motion and then signatures.
Yep.
With the special pen
With
on the
this-
Mylar.
Yep.
Okay.
correct.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion?
Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Nick, and all in favor say aye. Aye. 5-0.
Okay. Who has signed it so far? Just,
It appears that it is only Brett's signature on it.
okay, all right, no problem. I just want to, yeah, if you want to just sit it down there, and we'll start working on it.
Does he need to take that with him?
Yep.
That's just for us,
Yes, correct.
so
Yep.
we can sign it.
Yes, yep.
Good deal. Okay,
All right,
there you go.
thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Yes.
And I know we have a surveyor here that's for 3 of the
Yep.
things on there that will probably be very fast, and then we'll get to carry. Okay.
All right.
So next order of business will be PC 2026-073, 74, and 75. All 3 of those are for Grace Baptist Church. And if you want to tell us what you're doing.
Sure. So on this one, they're combining the parcels together. There's multiple parcels on the property. And then splitting off tract 1, which will be the church, and tract 2, which will be then the part that's selling, and then keeping the remainder, which is the tillable acreage.
Meets all the setback requirements.
Yes.
Okay. Just as a question, and I know this comes up, are they putting in a separate driveway, or are they gonna use
Yeah,
existing?
Yeah,
Is there any kind of an agreement?
they're going to install a separate driveway.
They're doing a separate drive, okay,
Yeah, so the driveway for
Okay.
the back will be on that north access area.
okay. That's the only question I had. Would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve all 3 as presented.
Okay, motion from Nick.
I'll second it.
I heard Aaron first. Aaron seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Done.
Then, well, you have one more. He has one more. He has the first Plat Committee one.
Do that one too. PC 2026-072, Stephen and Julia Pribble, and they are doing a 23.5 acre with 30 foot of road frontage, minor subdivision.
Yeah, so this one, they're splitting off the woods. The access does go through 3 different floodplain sections and 2 county tiles. So I don't know, do you know what the purpose?
Hunting, recreation.
Okay, so they're not looking, this is not a resident.
They're not gonna put up a house or anything or selling anything.
Okay.
It's just, well, Steve's selling it to the
Yes,
nephew.
I guess if in the future that they wanted to build something, there would probably be some restriction or, I mean, they would have to figure out a way to get through some of those floodplain. There would be crossings for driveways, that
Yeah.
various things that may be needed in the
it's
future.
more of a, so when the
If that were,
property is in the floodplain, you've done the, like where it's technically the buildable area isn't necessarily in the floodplain, but access is. When buildable area is in the floodplain, we've done the restriction that you can't build a house on it.
right,
But on this one, the issue is building a driveway through it.
right. But I mean, there may be compensating fill, there may be
Yeah.
other options that they could theoretically put a driveway that would get them access
Yeah.
without going through the flood zone, but there's some tiles that they would have to cross, there's some other things that would have to happen, just so they're aware of it. If it's just used for recreation, it's not an issue. So just basically a note about it. With that,
I would make a motion with that note on its impact on the access, that we would approve, knowing that the driveway access is impacted by floodplain and by county tile easements.
okay. So a motion by Mike,
Second.
seconded by Nick. All in favor, say aye. Aye. 5-0. And then we have one other,
Just want to do that real quick.
I was gonna say, is there anything out of the ordinary on it, or is it straightforward? Okay.
Yep.
We'll just go ahead and do PC 2026-076. This is JJ Parent Corporation in Ossian, and they are combining, or separating part of one lot and adding it to an adjacent lot.
Yes. Yeah, so they're doing an addition, a little bit of the tillable acreage on the east side of the cul-de-sac and the third or fourth building there,
Okay,
to the parcel that the rest of them are on.
okay,
There is, the property line to the east of there isn't an actual property line. That used to be the corporate boundary of Ossian, but that parcel is all one,
Okay.
all the way to the east, so.
Is that all now in Ossian? It's all,
Yes, it's all in Ossian now. At the time, that was the corporate boundary,
okay,
so it was partially in and partially out. That's why it was different,
okay.
so.
So no issue with that, all right. I would entertain a motion to approve. Making the motion.
Motion? There you go.
Okay. Aaron made the motion. Seconded by Lynn. All in favor, aye. Aye. 5-0. Okay. Now we will go back to the first item on the agenda. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks for your service.
Gosh, okay.
Have a review of a development plan, A260919, Liberty Township for the New Holland Dairy LLC. Request approval for a proposed CFO expansion, dry cow barn, and a manure lagoon, and solid separation system, a silage pad, and a silage pumping basin. We have a representative here.
Hi, Carrie Mary Simpkins. I have a couple extra copies because I didn't know you guys needed them out of the drawings.
We're good.
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
Apologize, when we submitted it, I didn't understand on the application, like where it has it says the 3 copies of the survey / plat. So in my mind, that wasn't these drawings, so that's what I was not clear about. So
Not big.
apologies.
No problem.
I don't know, do you guys,
If you just want to
Yeah,
give us
yeah,
kind of a
just- yeah,
general
just a
rundown of what the plan
Synopsis
is.
of what we're,
so, appreciate that because I wasn't familiar with the plat meeting first. That's why it was kind of, actually,
So typically, at Plat Committee, we're looking, okay, does it meet setbacks? Does it meet those things? If we see something that, like, hey, this might be an issue at the Plan Commission meeting, it's to kind of give you a heads up. If you need to make changes, if there's something if we need more information that we think might come up at a Plan Commission meeting, it just kind of gives you a heads up.
awesome, that's
So-
perfect. And thank you very much for the overview. So, at New Holland, and this is a little bit of background that maybe isn't 100% necessary, but I feel like knowing the why helps. So the New Holland Dairy, it's still under New Holland Dairy LLC, that hasn't changed, but the ownership behind New Holland Dairy LLC has changed a couple of times over the years. And fairly recently, like within the last couple of years, maybe even just the year, a company called Green Top Acres out of Ohio, Haviland, Ohio is their base. They became the major investor in what used to be, they would call them the old like United Dairy Group dairies, which would be New Holland, Geneva, the Williamson Dairy in Madison County, and it seems like I'm forgetting somebody. At any rate, New Holland and Geneva would be the ones that are in Wells County. So when Green Top Acres came in as the major owner, they've really done a great job of making improvements on the farms. So you'll be seeing me soon for Geneva as well. And at New Holland, what they're doing is they're trying to, quite frankly, they need more manure storage there as it is. And so they are proposing a lagoon. And then one of the things that you can kind of see in the center of the buildings, they're proposing a dry cow barn sort of in the center of the farmstead. And the sort of history on that is that barn has actually been approved by IDEM. It was approved in 2016. They got an extension to build it. They didn't quite have the capital to build it. And so then they didn't. So then it came off of the IDEM permit, and now it's back on the IDEM permit.
Okay.
So this is a barn that's essentially been approved by IDEM since 2016. And they need that dry cow space as well. Again, this really isn't, the way IDEM works, we have to show that the maximum capacity of all of the buildings. And so when you're kind of looking at that, and you're looking at those freestall barns, the numbers did increase, the maximum capacity of the facility increases, but this really isn't going to change the way the facility is operated. Essentially, right now, the cows are crowded. And so, yes, again, on paper it is an increase, but in real life, they're just gonna give cows more room. Could they physically cram the number of cows that are permitted in there? Absolutely. Is there a possibility the facility will operate at that level at some point? Absolutely. But right now, the plan is that this small barn addition would just give everybody the room that they need. And then again, like I said, that lagoon, they just need that extra space. This really isn't part of the plat discussion, part of the development, but addition to that extra space is they're adding a little bit of feed storage at the site. So none of these farms have quite enough feed storage, so they're adding some silage storage. That silage pad makes extra water going to the lagoon, so they definitely needed the extra lagoon space. That's why we're here. And a little bit of background, some of the things that, again, was a misunderstanding of the process. As you can see, our original, like when we originally did our score, And we included it in the packet, like it has I'll be able to hold it up and you'll see what I mean. I find it here. It's like a spreadsheet with,
What page is it, Carrie?
It's not.
Not in this one, okay.
and maybe I didn't print, oh, there it is. Okay, so it looks like this, if you guys have this or not, I don't know.
I do, but
Okay, so essentially, what I did, and it doesn't matter, because it's just my math, right? Like, that's all that it is. So, what I did was, I looked at the lagoon as the setback, because in my mind, when you look at, like, when I was, reviewing it and thinking it through and doing it, and I'll get to the map that y'all have in front of you. So you guys have this map. And in my mind, the footprint of the facility was not changing with that dry cow barn. The footprint of the facility was changing with the lagoon to the north. And so I did all of our site scores based off of the lagoon, 2 houses. Because again, Michael, he and I had an email exchange about it where I was just like, he's like, no, you don't have enough points because you got to measure off the barn. And I was like, the new barn, like it's not really a new barn. And, and he's like, sorry. So here we are right now with, quite frankly, not enough points if we have to measure by the barn. If you measure by the lagoon, we do. But we're working with the neighbors. We feel like that's going to happen. We feel like we'll be able to get waivers from the neighbors that the barn, would be, again, they're more than 800 feet. It's a point thing. It's getting them to waive counting their house for the points so that we can get enough points to get to 220. So that is where we're at right now. As you can see, based on the maps that so I think it's hard when you're looking at the engineering plans, when you're an average person, you're looking at that engineer plan, exactly how far away it is from every single property line. That's why I did these. And that is kind of helpful for you guys to see, this is exactly where it's at. And this is what we gave the neighbors for the waivers we already have signed. So when we went to the neighbors, I say we, it wasn't me, it was the owners. I didn't shake hands this time, but we went to them and said, here is the exact layout, here's exactly how far it is away. And then, and all of a sudden his name escapes me, you might be able to help me, Michael, the gentleman down here. I want to say Markley, maybe? At any rate, this gentleman down here, okay? So we went to him the first time because, again, I was measuring from the lagoon, and we said, it's 2,100 feet. I think we need like 2,200 to get the points. He signed the waiver. And then we had to measure from the barn, and we went back, and we were like, just kidding. It's now 1,600 feet. And he was like, oh, it's the same thing, right? So that isn't the issue, but that's why there isn't a second line on here showing you from the barn to that house, because it's just not something we did in the beginning.
Sure.
I think that is sort of everything. We do have the IDEM permit.
I have a question for you, Carrie.
Sure.
So you mentioned that barn was approved in 2016.
Yes.
Or it was on the item permit in
Yes.
2016. When was the facility built?
Prior to 2000, well, I think 2007, 2008, actually, I
Okay.
can tell you.
it was built right before the county CFO rules, when basically the year before was
Okay.
when it was.
So this one, when it was built, would have basically been a ILP?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it was not.
Other than the IDEM setbacks,
It did
no.
not have to meet the points requirement when it was built.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
So,
2008 is when it was built. Sorry, I wanted to.
okay, so it was built in '08.
So when it was approved in 2016?
Well, so then there was some permitting done in 2016. Was there any other expansion at that time, or was it just for that barn?
The only other expansion wasn't anything that needed to come from the county. So, for example, there is like, if you put in a manhole for a transfer system, then that has to be permitted, but it's not necessarily a big structure, it doesn't have to be. So there were some things like that. I also think that they did, I might be able to see here. I don't remember off the top of my head. I was thinking that they also did a little bit of like, they did some work on the silage pad, they added bunker walls to try to get some more capacity. Again, not anything that really impacts y'all, so there were some changes, and I did ask Michael at that time, like, did they go through the county process in 16 and then just not build it? He indicated they hadn't, and so, not that it would help us today, but at least it's something to,
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was originally permitted, like in
No, it was
2008.
not part of the.
It wasn't part of the original plan.
correct.
Okay. And they didn't ask for that item permit change until 2016.
Correct.
Okay. Did we have the point system in 2016? We had that in
Yes,
2016,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Yes.
So how with that, if you take that barn out of the equation, you meet the point requirement.
Yes.
With the barn in the equation, how close are you on the points?
I did not print that, but my memory is it does knock it down to quite a bit. I think it's around 170 without it, and it's because of the houses that are,
I'm gonna assume south and west.
yes. So it is the house here and the house here, and so like, again, this isn't, I understand that's not the county ordinance, but when you think about potential impact, the lagoon is more potential impact in my mind than the barn. And so as it sits today, the lagoon that causes the more potential impact, the houses that it changes are the ones that are the furthest away from the lagoon. And there isn't one north that's, it's not even close,
Yeah,
really.
there's,
Okay.
So,
the next closest one would be to the south and east.
yeah. So again, without that barn in there,
I mean, with the layout of the barn as it currently is, the facility where they milk and keep cows, all that stuff, that barn could almost be built and nobody's gonna know that there's any difference.
Yeah.
Right.
heck,
I mean,
and that was sort of my thought, like, again, I wasn't trying to skirt around, it just didn't even occur to me because it didn't seem like a big impact since it was already in the footprint.
within that footprint, I understand that
Yes,
rationale.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is, I'm not arguing about the rule, it just, that was the rationale that got us here.
So currently, you have reached out to, have you reached out,
Yes,
you or someone
Yes,
has reached out to all of those homeowners that are affected?
yes, and so the original one, we already have that signature.
You have a waiver from one.
And then my understanding is that the home that is this home, that they already have it signed.
Okay,
And they are talking to, is it Keel? Is that how you say the last name? They were talking to him, and Teo gave him my contact information as well. I haven't heard from him yet, but there at least that conversation's happening. We have a reasonable expectation. My memory is that if they didn't sign, it was like 170 is our score. If they do, but not him, it makes it like 190, I think. But if both of them sign, then we're back at like 225 or something.
so you're in that process right now.
Yes. And we started that, I think our email exchange about the lagoon thing was last Friday, maybe. And
Isn't that Crickard that lives there?
yes, that's the name. Thank you. That's the one that he had signed once and then went back through and signed again.
I think that's the one, that's where the original owner or manager of that, like, they live there. They built that house, I think. Okay. The one that's in the woods.
Yes. and
They
the
built that
that's
house.
Directly next to the dairy is owned by the LLC.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it
that
does
one
not-
is
it
not,
does not count.
doesn't count. Okay.
So the things to note on Plan Commission, so there's waivers that are signed to allow the lagoon to be closer to the property lines. What is, the lagoon is going to be how far from the north and east property
Yeah,
lines?
So if this is the page to look at.
What
And
sheet is that?
I don't know how you numbered it. It's not in the 11 by 17s. It would just be a regular. If you guys don't have it, I'm happy to just, because this one I can.
Pass it around. It's-
0415.
So these are ones that I like, if this helps any, and actually, you guys can kind of, I'm not sure if I, oh, yeah, I have another copy of that.
That's right.
0515 also gives the dimensions on it.
So here's just kind of a layman's view of how that lays out. And then there's another one, it's this one. Maybe. There we go. So it's 40 feet from this property line and
They
70.
also own the strip back
Yes.
right there.
So there's like two there, if that makes any sense. This is the next one to show you.
There-
Like, because of the strip in the center, it's like,
There's basically a 25-foot lane that goes to the
Yes.
parcel behind them that's on the
Which is
east side of the
to
dairy
make sure
property.
they had access to that
Right,
road,
right.
the folks above them. And, so this is one of those really obscure things from IDEM that is impossible to explain in text, so I'm going to draw a picture and we'll do our best. How's that? So. Again, I use CAD for a reason, no comments on my drawing, okay? So, this is a cross view of a lagoon, right? So, pretty easy, the manure would be over here, this is the top of the berm, and this is the ground elevation out here. Indiana, basically in my knowledge of, I do some work in Ohio and Michigan and Illinois, of those states, they're the only ones that measure this way. Indiana measures from the toe of the lagoon. So all of the setbacks that we measured, again, it says, it's 40 feet and 70 feet respectively, is 40 feet from the toe of the lagoon.
Not from the manure.
Yes, most other states measure from the inside berm. They measure from here. And that is, in this case, like 65 feet. So we were 100 feet away if you measure from here. It's a measurement. Like, not that it's not too close either way for the county. However, I do want to point out that it isn't like,
Manure isn't 70 feet from.
yes, I did want to point that out. Like, there is and again, I understand Indiana's concept here. It does make sure that they do have, because sometimes this slope gets excessive and then you've got this huge toe and you don't want that on other people's properties. I get all that. But this is an impossible thing to write. So.
So from the toe of slope, where IDEM measures it, you are 40 feet basically from that lane,
Langley, yes.
which would make it another 25 feet then, so you're
Yes.
65 feet to the adjoining property owner
Yes.
there, okay? And then 70 feet from the property line to the north.
The north is like 100 as it is.
Oh, okay. So it's only on that eastern side that you're within that
100 feet.
100 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
But both adjoining landowners have signed saying that
They're okay with that.
with that
Okay.
reduced setback.
Yes.
From our perspective,
Yeah.
that is okay. IDEM,
Yes, we did the same thing. So all of those owners signed two. They signed one for the state and one for the county because you guys have different verbiage and things that need to go in there.
Sure.
And so that is something that was already through. The state waivers are available. I can get them to you. But basically what they say is the state doesn't necessarily, I always tell folks this, they don't have to say that they like it, they don't have to agree with it, they just have to agree they're not going to build a huge fence that prevents the people from using it. That's all it says, basically. It's like, we understand it's within 100 feet, and we won't block their access in the future. That's all it says.
so really the only hangup on the points are those two houses. If we measure from the dry cow barn,
Yes.
that's the only hangup right now. You are working through that to see if
Yes.
you can get those waivers.
Yes. So my strategy, quite frankly, is to hope we get the waivers. I mean, that's
Sure,
the idea.
sure.
I think that, two of the three are fairly well, there. I don't want to count my chickens till I have the copy, I'm not guaranteeing that, but, hopefully, and then, I do feel like they've got a good relationship with Mr. Keel. I think that is likely to happen, but I'm not positive. If for some reason that doesn't happen, then I will ask the Plan Commission for a variance because of the measurement potential, like, depends on where you measure from, kind of thing. So that would be my approach.
I mean, I can see the rationale behind on that barn. With it being kind of within the footprint of the existing barns, I see the rationale behind that.
Hopefully, we won't have to go down that path, but if we do, that's I'll just explain the rationale.
And you've got a few weeks before we get there, so. So if the points are that close, Mike, with that barn, if they would get those waivers, they're going to far exceed point values at that point then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if we said, okay, the barn, we're gonna kind of, I don't wanna say ignore it, that's not the right terminology, but like if we ignored it, point value, and with the waivers they already have, it exceeds the point total that is needed.
So if we grant a variance, then that would install a point penalty.
It makes a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the one thing of note, is if there was a variance, then that would add to the 220. So I think adds 10 points, and then if there was a second variance, it would be 20 points.
Okay. But if they sign a waiver,
That doesn't.
that negates
Correct.
that.
No, that negates
doesn't-
that.
okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It is,
Then it's not
just
needed.
can't meet it, or won't meet it. That would be when the point penalty comes into place.
So, and this is a question, and
Yeah.
my understanding of county is that essentially, like, you can ask for a variance for nearly anything. That does not mean the county has to grant it, but that
Yep,
essentially.
That is correct.
So my question would be that, would the variance be to measure from the lagoon, or would the variance be we can't make the points because we have to measure from a barn that's in the center? And
I would say, yeah, that you would use the logic of the pre-existing facility and an envelope,
I mean,
talking about how the expansion,
so if you're gonna ask for it,
logic that you would use there.
I mean, you can say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the expansion of the lagoon meets the requirements. However, the additional barn, that you couldn't meet it, however, it fits within that footprint, we're asking for a variance
Yeah.
from that requirement to these adjoining, because it fits within that I mean, is that kind of how the variance that would be asked for?
Yeah, I would
Okay,
say that.
okay.
because if we.
If needed.
Yeah, my
Might not even be
concern is
needed.
that if we have the penalty on the points, because we're at like 223, I think. Like, if you measure from the lagoon,
Yeah, right now, that's what you're saying.
yeah, so like it's around, like, but if there's a penalty, then we don't meet. Like, again, so then we're back in the same, but, so that's why I was trying to figure out, like, is there a variance we can ask for that we can get?
Penalize you. Yeah.
Yes, that's where I was. And maybe it's not, like, I just want to make sure I explore all the options. I'm not trying to.
Sure.
Do you expect, if you get the signatures, to have them before the APC meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would make it as clear as possible.
Yeah, it is a very high priority for them, for sure.
One other question for you, and I know I've had some calls from the adjoining land, well, it's not really the adjoining land,
Yes.
on the other side of the strip.
Right, yeah.
I had some calls, I know your firm or somebody had done some engineering, some design to reroute a tile or replace, do whatever. Is that in this set of plans?
I honestly don't think that it is,
Okay.
because IDEM does not review any of the,
This is more of the plans that went to IDEM.
yes.
Okay.
Now, I will,
For the meeting,
yes,
please have that profile, where it's gonna be rerouted, those types of things, for the meeting, that would be helpful. I'm assuming if those folks have already signed a waiver, that they're okay with what the design is, and I don't think that's gonna become an issue.
That's a very good,
It would be helpful to have.
But it would be good to have that information, that here's what's proposed to reroute this drainage in there. Somebody else, a neighbor might ask about it, somebody might ask about it, that,
and my understanding, and, I'm sort of removed from the drainage conversation, but, the pieces I've picked up is that essentially that the dairy sort of created a drainage problem in 2008, and hopefully this fixes that.
Right.
And I think regardless of what happens, I think that the fix of the drainage thing will happen regardless of their construction or.
but if there's a set of plans, drawings,
100%. I
something.
just want to let you guys
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
their intention is to fix that drainage no matter what.
Sure,
proceeds here.
sure.
Whatever. Anything else? Is there anything that doesn't feel right from the Plat Committee, or the questions that you have before?
I mean, it's too bad that barn wasn't in the original
Yes,
2008
yeah.
plan, because, well, it just didn't get built. It was, yeah, it's too bad that wasn't.
And trust me, after Michael was like, no, we got to measure for it, you better believe I was digging to look for it.
Why did they not do anything about this?
Please be there, please be there.
Well, and it's such a unique building layout. I mean, it almost like they built it to have that building on there.
Yes,
The way
exactly,
that it was all set up, but
yes.
And I guess I'm gonna say, if this were a new site,
yes,
I think we would look at it a little bit differently than this is an existing site that
Yeah,
you're
and
making
that's
some
what-
changes. I think,
that's what this process is for.
And I
is
think
for
we're gonna
dealing
look
with
at it
situations.
potentially just a little bit differently, because it's not 80 acres of farmland that's being changed into something else. It's keeping it within that footprint, so.
Yeah, if the barn was off to the west on the neighboring property or whatever.
Yeah, then it's maybe a different animal, but
You said
No
it
pun
is a
intended.
dry barn, so building that isn't gonna cause other drainage issues that are already there.
Yeah, so it's a dry cow barn, not a dry barn. Yeah, but, so it will be like a flush system like that, but the stormwater that comes off of that is already, like, the swales are already there. Like, honestly, the pad for that barn basically already exists. I'm kind of like you guys. It doesn't really make sense. Pretty much every other, all the Vriebehoff dairies, like if you look across, they all look the same, and they all have, where there is no barn here, they all have a barn except for here. And the pad is there, so it already has the shape to be able to handle that stormwater. And then on the backside, and I know you guys don't, it's harder to see, essentially like on the north, let me get my bearings here, northeast corner, this area, this is where all the stormwater goes. Yes, there will be some more roof water that goes there, but there's already a stormwater detention area there. And then the only way that I can see that the silage pad addition impacts you guys is potentially that surface area for drainage issues, but it all goes to the lagoon. So any stormwater that falls on that automatically goes to the lagoon because of the.
silage juice is like manure.
Yes, and potential, like, the potential of stormwater contamination on that kind of concrete with just dairy traffic is so high that it's a liability issue for the farm to not capture it all. So,
Yeah.
So just this area of this farm drains generally through here, and currently it goes through the detention pond
okay.
Okay.
of their existing site. That's where the issue was. And once again, haven't seen plans. I think the proposal is they're going to reroute that water around and hook in downstream of the detention pond, is what I have been told.
Yeah.
I have not seen a set of plans of that. That's to help alleviate the problem over here on this farm.
Yeah.
So like I say, I'm assuming by them signing a waiver that has been resolved, at least verbally, if not in writing.
Yeah, so like I do know that I have a sketch from the field of that,
Yeah.
but that's all that's all I have in my possession. That doesn't mean that there isn't an official plan that exists.
Sure.
And if not, there will be before the meeting.
Sure.
If I have to do it myself.
No problem. Yeah, the problem is not up here at the front.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
It's back, kind of where that lagoon part of where that
Yeah.
lagoon would be located.
Essentially, like, a lot of times, like, you don't mean to, but you interrupt, you reroute a tile, you don't realize how much it carried, and then it, all the things.
Yeah.
Unintended consequences.
Yep.
In the lagoons, will they be tied to each other, or they operate separate from each other?
Right now, they're not tied, we call it hydraulically, so like there is not a pipe between them. Now, nearly every operation that has more than one lagoon has a mechanism to pump back and forth because you quite often need more water here or there. So there, I'm sure, will be a mechanism to pump back and forth, but there is not a pipe that keeps it
Okay.
leveled.
Okay. Keep working on your waivers.
Yeah,
Hopefully by
Yep.
plan commission meeting, and then that's a very easy decision to make.
100%.
If not, at the plan commission, we'll have to figure out. I mean, I think it's a reasonable request. So,
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
I appreciate the backstory and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, sometimes the why,
very helpful.
Been part of Wells County for a long time.
Yeah.
sometimes the why helps for sure.
Absolutely.
it was built a few years after I was in office.
Yeah.
Which
Well, yeah.
The freshman.
doesn't seem that long ago, but it
Yeah.
was.
It's not necessary, no.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Thanks for making us feel old.
Thanks, man.
Well, after we got done with the dinosaurs, we defeated them, we built this farm. And then,
Well, most of the dinosaurs. Not all.
First, we cleared the trees and made it farmable.
yeah,
Then we did
yes,
this,
yes.
yes.
Step two.
There's some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Yes.
All right, anything else?
Thanks for everything.
That's all we have.
All right, thank you.
Yep, take
weekend.
care.
And then I'll.
Sure, yeah, I'll
Yep.
just wait.
Yep.
I think that was our last item of business, unless there's any other discussion, or is that it?
Yeah. That's it.
Is it just we do need to reorganize or just
Yes.
at least
Yeah,
discuss
that's
that.
correct. Yes.
So, just, okay, for Aaron, who has not been here, very much, Bill Haran was the president of the Plat Committee. I was the vice president, and so since Bill, it was no longer part of the Plat Committee because of his change in job title, by default, I stepped in and have operated the last few meetings. I am willing to do that going forward and be the president if we need to do that. I think personally that since Bill was the president and you're his replacement, I think you ought to have to be the president, but I am willing to continue on in that capacity.
Meetings before we go there.
I'm willing to continue on as the president, but we would need to select a new vice president if we wanted to keep all of the other offices. Mike is the secretary. If we want to keep that the same, I am willing to do that, I guess. And can we just do that by consent, if everybody's
We would
okay
just
with it?
make a
Or do you want to make a motion, somebody make a motion?
to nominate Jared as president.
Second.
And then we also need to nominate a vice president as well. Or I guess we can vote on me first. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Begrudgingly. And then I would entertain a nomination for someone as the vice president, who cannot be Mike nor myself.
Yeah.
So we need somebody else.
Want to do it, Nick?
Gary Shaw's spot. Doesn't matter to me. I mean,
You basically have to replace me in my absence whenever I'm not available, so.
yeah, I know.
There you go.
Second the nomination for Nick.
Okay. And all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
It's an honor.
An honor to be nominated.
Yes.
You still get the same pay. All right. With that,